Hi, everyone. Gerry Dulac along with Ray Fittipaldo at the Steelers South Side Complex, where we just listened to the Mike Tomlin news conference. Our Steeler Report brought to you by Savinas, Kane, and Gallucci, mesothelioma and asbestos lawyers with 85 years of experience for getting millions of dollars for their clients. Go to sdklaw.com. Ray, bad injury news for the Steelers, along the lines of scrimmage. Broderick Jones and Derrick Harmon, their number one pick, both ruled out of the game against the Bills already. We saw Broderick Jones injure his neck. It was kind of a strange play where the defender jumped kind of in the air and kind of landed on his shoulders. He's not going to play. And, of course, Derrick Harmon, he actually did play the rest of the game, but obviously that knee injury was worse, and so he's going to be out. Those are two big losses for the Steelers.
Yeah, and Mike Tomlin said fellow rookie Yahya Black is likely to fill in for Harmon, but this will also give new defensive lineman Broderick Martin Jones his first chance to play. They signed him off the Chiefs practice squad. A little bit different situation at left tackle. Calvin Anderson came into the game and finished for Jones, but Tomlin said it's going to be Anderson and Andrus Peat who are going to compete for that job this week. So a little bit different situation on the offensive line. They're going to let them compete to see who's the guy on Sunday.
And Ray, we've seen the offensive line, for the most part, play very well, get better every game. Mike Tomlin made a point, to point up that they've only been penalized 8 times this year. We saw the running game go for 186 yards on Sunday. That's a season high. The protection, for the most part, has been really good, this offensive line, and they've been able to stay together for the most part. Yes, they lost Isaac Seumalo for the one game, but that's been one of the keys, and they've been very good all year.
Yeah, and listen, one of the reasons Tomlin said they went out and got Peat was his veteran status. He's a longtime starter in this league. He can play guard. He can play tackle. And if there's one saving grace about that injury, and you're right, they have had that continuity all year, you have a guy who's been there and done that. So whether it's Peat or Anderson started a few games in this league as well, but at least they have a veteran to step in who has some experience on their resume.
And, of course, the other significant injury, Ray, is Aaron Rodgers. He did not play, as everyone knows, Sunday in Chicago. Mike Tomlin said he has great optimism that he'll be able to play this week. They'll start the week a little bit slow, but I'm sure they're going in with the idea he's going to play. They did not feel that way last week. I asked him during his news conference, was 1 week enough to alleviate the fears and concerns you had from Aaron Rodgers? And he says, we'll see, but apparently all systems are go. We'll wait and see how it is late in the week. But Ray, it was a medical decision they made not to play him, but apparently it's much better now.
Yeah, he keeps saying it was prudent, which leads you to believe that there was some concerns about his safety there. And he also keeps pointing to the fact that Mason Rudolph got the majority of the reps. That'll likely be the case Wednesday and Thursday this week. But I think the hope is that this week, Gerry, by Friday, Aaron Rodgers is in there with the starters and gets a full day with them. And, if that happens, I expect him to be out there on Sunday.
Right. There's been some very positive signs about this team and about this offense. We saw them in the first half in Chicago, particularly with Mason Rudolph. In the 6 quarters he's played, he's converted 13 of 20 third downs. That's 65%. They've been struggling in that category. And the other thing they did is, even after he threw that interception on the second play of the game, they answered the Bears' touchdown with another. And then, of course, they got the big momentum-changing strip sack from T.J. Watt. Yeah. And after the Bears scored to make it 14-14, Mason in the offense answered again with a touchdown. So we've seen things like that. But then, in the second half, it kind of fell apart. And one thing that Mike Tomlin did say, we've seen a lack of big passing plays from this offense. He did say there were opportunities down the field. He said that's usually a strength of Mason Rudolph's game. And he said, but that wasn't the case on Sunday.
And there was a big one late in the game. He had Roman Wilson down the sideline. The ball was 5 yards out of bounds. You don't know what happened in that situation. So that's definitely a place where the Steelers can improve. And, of course, Mike Tomlin was asked, why don't you throw over the middle? He said maybe that'll change this week. But, Gerry, that hasn't changed all season. If there's one thing that's going to change, I'm going to say it's the deep balls more so than the middle of the field passing.
I agree. In fact, it's been longer than just this season, Ray. It goes back. It's funny because I know we're all spoiled because Ben Roethlisberger made a living doing that. He was the best in the league at that 17 to 25-yard pass. He attacked it all the time, and that's what's just missing from this offense.
Yeah, how many times did we see it? Just those timing routes with Antonio Brown. He knew where AB was going to be, and you're right. We are spoiled, and it's definitely been a different situation. It hasn't been good, whether it's Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. It hasn't mattered.
So, Ray, you look at this defense, they held the NFC's leading rush team. The Bears had 156 per game average. They held them to 99 yards. They got the third defensive touchdown in 2 weeks. Mike Tomlin was quick to point that up as well. When you get 3 touchdowns from your defense in a 2-week span, you're doing pretty good. And yet there's other elements where they were just repeatedly burned with those slant plays and crosses over the middle, wide open area of the field, a soft zone, and just not able to stop the Bears in the second half when they needed to. But it's kind of that's why they're 6-5 and not, as Mike Tomlin said, 9-2.
It's just those consistency issues. What you mentioned, the guys running wide open, you would think those are things that you're able to fix. And for a short time there, when Jalen Ramsey and Kyle Duggar went to safety, we were like, okay, they finally fixed their problems. But it reared its ugly head again. And like Cam Hayward said on Sunday, Gerry, the sand is running out of the hourglass. There's not much time to fix these issues. They got to do it starting Sunday against the Bills.
Yeah, 6 games left with 2 against the Ravens, the Bills, of course, and then at Detroit. So it's not an easy sledding these last 6 games. Ray, when you look at some of the issues with this team and why they haven't been able to go forward, again, they have these moments, these quarters and these halves where they're pretty good, and then they go to sleep for these long periods of time, and they just haven't been able to put it together well enough, consistently enough. You even look at the punting the other day. Corliss Waitman, 3 poor punts, especially that last one, 33 yards. Mike Tomlin said, it was timely, the timely punting, meaning poor punting against the Bears. Just little things like that. That illegal formation penalty that really hurt them. It's those kinds of things. And so while you can point to those and blame them, the bottom line is they just haven't been able to win those games.
And it's the intangibles too, right? It's that complementary football that Mike Tomlin always talks about. They go up 21-14 late in the second quarter. They allowed the Bears to come down, get that field goal to make it 21-17. Then they have the 3 and out, give the ball back, and then the lead is gone. The Bears go down and take control of the game. They had the chance for the double score. And in the end, the Bears stole momentum. They got the double score, and they won the game.
It's a big game Sunday at Acrisure Stadium, 4:25. It's national television. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, whenever they're in town, Ray, it's a big game. The Steelers have lost 4 of their last 6. The Bills, they don't look like the juggernaut that they were. They look imminently beatable. They've lost to the Falcons. They've lost to the Dolphins, and the Texans dominated them with their defense last week. So we'll see what plays out. It's a big game for the Steelers, especially coming off that loss in Chicago. For Ray Fittipaldo, I'm Gerry Dulac. You're watching Post-Gazette.com.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit Post-Gazette.com.